I'm Jenny Marie, and in this documentary I'll be exploring autism in the workplace. 1 in 5 autistic people in the UK are in any form of paid employment. That's just 20% compared to 80% of non-disabled people. I'm aware that each person's experience could be very different, whether it be positive or negative. We'll be hearing from autistic voices and their experiences in employment.
So, when it comes to autistic people in employment, it's obviously a massive topic that the autistic community talks about. I mean, I think it's less than 20% of autistic people are in full-time employment, and for me, I've been in employment for 5 years consistently. But it's not all sunshines and rainbows. It's not a story which, had, very easy beginnings by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, for me personally, I tried to get a job hundreds of times, went to hundreds of interviews, in my local area, just to get a job. Pretty much it was like a 16 month experience of people constantly saying no. Even when they get into work, work can be very, very unmanageable. In general, when it comes to autistic people in the workplace, it's so important to understand the value of the autistic employees in your workplace, but also to accommodate for those autistic employees. It's not about, giving them an advantage. It's not about, favoritism. It's about equaling the playing field, allowing them to be able to do their job, be able to work for you and not feel stressed out, anxious about going to work, being unable to do the job because the world around them simply is not made for them, or it hinders them, or there's just this lack of, I don't know what the word is, to be honest, but I don't know, it's just this barrier for autistic people to get into employment in the first place, but then to also progress, I guess, is what I would say. But no, like I say, I've been in employment for the past 5 years, different places, and my story is a very unique one, but it should not be a unique story. More people who are autistic, should be employed, full time, or paid work, because I know autistic individuals who tend to do volunteering. There's this long process. It should not be like that, and I think it is a societal issue where we don't recognize the talents of autistic people and are unwilling to accommodate, or unwilling to change our attitudes. It is just honestly just about making changes in society, and I think that ultimately it's the way we can get autistic people employed.
Andy there making some really great points. As Andy said, for autistics to thrive, accommodations known as reasonable adjustments need to be made. These do not mean that we're ahead of others, but more of an even playing field.
Hi there, welcome to my workspace. My name's Madge Woolard. I've been running my own business teaching piano and keyboard, both privately and in schools, since 1994. I kind of fell into it. I trained as a classroom teacher with music specialism, applied for over 60 jobs, never got through an interview. They always picked someone else above me. But it worked out for the best, because I think I'm far better suited to one-to-one teaching, and I don't think I could handle a class of 30 kids. I think I would have been burnt out by now if I'd been doing that for all my working life. I was diagnosed autistic in 2016 after my nephew got a diagnosis, and it was suggested that probably my dad is too, although he's in his 70s now and doesn't want a diagnosis. And my wife said it would be a good idea to go for it to see if I am. And then it turned out that she is as well. So we're actually an autistic couple, which works really well. And I have students from beginner level right up to grade 8. I've got a couple working towards their grade 8 exam at the moment. My dream is to teach more neurodivergent students. I have a few at the moment. And a couple of years ago, I taught two lads, two autistic lads who had amazing musical ability. They had perfect pitch and they just remembered everything. They didn't read music, but they learned entirely by ear. So I would play a little phrase and they would copy it back and then they would remember it forever. And those two lads are now at music college. So that was kind of my highlight of my career, teaching them. And I didn't know I was autistic at the time when I started teaching them, but I realised that probably I was a good match for them being autistic too. So that's my dream, to teach more neurodivergent students. I have a business award, I'll just show you. We have an Autism Friendly Award from the National Autistic Society, because I was hoping to get more autistic students, and I like to make my business autism friendly, so to look out for my pupils' sensory needs and the structure of the lessons, and so I had to fill in a form to think about things like that. I'm currently co-writing a book with the Autistic Schools Staff Project, which is going to be out sometime next year, about my experiences as a peripatetic teacher in schools. So look out for that next year. There have been challenges in my career. I do often find I get very tired very easily because I'm communicating with all sorts of different people all day. And there are sensory challenges working in schools with a huge number of kids going down the corridors and all the smells and the lights, and so yeah, it's exhausting, but I think it's worth it. So yeah, that's a little about me.
So why employ autistic people? We have great attention to detail, reliability, high levels of concentration, and detailed factual knowledge. Why not work to our strengths rather than hinder our weaknesses? Help us to make those weaknesses more of a positive. Help us to gain more knowledge to help build those weaknesses into something positive. If you help autistic people to thrive in the workplace by providing reasonable adjustments, the workplace can be such an amazing place. Other members of staff, they can learn from autistic people, autistic employees. Meetings become more interesting. The workplace just becomes more interesting. And actually, autistic people can thrive in the workplace under the right environment. I work in a college. I've been employed for 5 years at my current workplace. The thing I find most difficult is masking during my working day. I work part-time hours because I just could not cope with full-time hours. It's about knowing your own limits and being able to conserve some energy. In terms of reasonable adjustments, I have pink lined paper and a pink overlay. My timetable is pretty much set and it's quite rigid. If there are any changes, I'm told beforehand to make sure that I'm okay with them. I also wear specialist Erlen spectral filters as glasses at work so that everywhere is less bright. I've tried to work before in a famous fast food restaurant, I'm not going to name names, and I found it was far too much in terms of it was too fast paced, not being able to process what was going on. Reasonable adjustments were spoken about, but they just kind of never happened. There wasn't really anything you could put into place. So I literally just couldn't carry on working there. I ended up giving that up because it was just too much. I'm hoping this documentary helps employers to help autistic people like myself and the others in this documentary to succeed in the workplace. Thank you.